Welcome back to Dunstan Kiwi Bred. Windsor Park shuttle stallion The Way You Are produced some encouraging results with his 2-year-old runners last season. I recently chatted to Windsor Park's Mike Moran about the stallion's progression. The Way You Are joined the stallion lineup here at Windsor Park in 2010. His progeny have just finished a successful 2-year-old year. Are you pleased with the way he's making his mark at stud?
Absolutely. He's the leading first season sire last season, which was very pleasing for us because you'll note in his race career his performance was at a mile, and he's had a lot of fast horses, a lot of smart 2-year-olds here, so it was very, very pleasing.
Time Form said given his race performance and pedigree, he couldn't have been much hotter as a stallion prospect. What was it about him that drew Windsor Park to the horse?
Well, first and foremost, his performance. He had that Group 1 performance, which that's the first thing. But when you go through and see the horse as a type, his pedigree is just, you know, there wouldn't be a better bred horse in the stallion register. So he had that, and our association with Coolmore, they thought he was a horse that would suit New Zealand, and he certainly has done that.
On pedigree, Mike, you've said it already, he's equine royalty by multiple Group 1 winner King Mambo out of an outstanding Sadler's Wells mare, Mariinsky. What are the key points in his breeding?
Well, his dam Mariinsky was a Group 1 performing 2-year-old. She's by the great Sadler's Wells, and his third dam is that wonderful matron in Best in Show, and horses from that family include horses like Reduced Choice, and it's just an amazing family, Last Tycoon, and a great side producing family too.
His French trainer Andre Fabre described him as a really masculine colt with a beautiful action. What appeals to you about the way he's physically put together?
Yeah, well, he is a quality horse, as you see from the footage today. He's a beautiful looking horse. As a matter of fact, after he won a listed race, Coolmore purchased him for $6 million, so that just shows you he's got it all really, the type, the pedigree, and after that he won a Group 1, so his future was assured at stud.
As a 2-year-old, he was rated 117 on Time Form. That's higher than his sire, who was 110 at the same stage of his career. What attributes did he possess as a racehorse?
Well, he was the actual champion French colt that year, and the champion filly was the Carver. So, you know, she went on and won the Arc the next year and was unbeaten. So that's the sort of level of ability where they saw he would go, but sadly through to injury he was never able to achieve that. But already being a Group 1 winning 2-year-old, King Mambo's had very few of them. You know, a wonderful stallion. He was pensioned in the year 2010 himself, and a phenomenal stallion. I think he signed some 85 stakes winners in his career and 21 Group 1 winners, so a phenomenal stallion, and this guy hopefully can carry that on.
His 2-year-olds from last season represented him very well. Prince Mambo, Weigh-In, Don't Change, but perhaps his biggest runner, Toast of New York, winning on Dubai World Cup night. How encouraging was that?
That was great. Toast of New York, a very promising horse, and he's a very smart horse, winning on World Cup night, the UAE Derby. Weigh-In, very smart filly for the Richies, showed a lot. First trials winner, carried right through the season. Don't Change, another lovely horse, trained by Patrick Campbell in Hawke's Bay. He's getting ready for the Guineas races. Prince Mambo's obviously his best performed son, winning stakes level at Matamata and then second in the Sires. So, you know, very well. But there's some nice horses in Melbourne and Sydney that haven't even won yet. A horse called Proactive with Paul and Peter Snowden. He's out of his Abiel mare. He's had one start, ran second. He's heading to the Spring Champion Stakes, and a horse just away Steve Richards got out of a Dan Zero mare, Hakuba. He thinks very highly of him. He's in the Guineas races and also nominated for the Cox Plate. So we're really looking forward to the spring, and we think this fellow's progeny are going to really continue to improve as they get up in ground.
Tell us, Mike, which sire lines is he clicking with here in New Zealand?
Well, his family has a great affinity for the Danzig Danehill lines. His half-sister Peeping Fawn was by Danehill, and of course Reduced Choice, who I mentioned from the family, is also by Danehill. And what we've noticed, Prince Mambo is out of a dance mare, who's by Danehill. Weigh-In's out of a Danehill mare. Don't Change is out of a Danehill mare. and even Toast of New York, who was the UAE Derby winner, is out of a syncline mare who's by Danzig, so he's got a real affinity for that Danzig blood.
He's been shuttling here from Coolmore since 2010. Has it been well supported by breeders?
He has. He's entering his 5th season, and he's probably averaged about 80 to 85 mares a year, so nice numbers without doing the massive numbers. So he's done really well, and we're looking forward to another great book again this year.
Service fees increased slightly this season. What does that reflect?
Just reflects what he started at 10,000. He's made a great start. He's leading first season sire. Obviously, Coolmore own the horse, so they need to make it all work. And he's still very well priced at 10,000, and that's been reflected by his early bookings.
The Way You Are looks set for a big season as we watch his 3-year-olds navigate their classic year. Well, it's now time for this week's Pedigree of the Week. Thanks to International Animal Health Products, we take a look at the Dean and Donna Logan trained Ekra mare, Rising Romance.
A rising star of the New Zealand staying ranks ascended to the top of the highest peak with her classic success in last season's Group 1 Australian Oaks. Donna and Dean Logan's glamour filly Rising Romance had already proven her class with a smart win in the Group 2 Royal Stakes at Ellerslie, as well as courageous second placings behind Puccini in the Group 2 Avondale Guineas and Group 1 New Zealand Derby. But it was her Oaks win at Randwick under champion Kiwi hoop James McDonald that sealed the love affair with an adoring fan base. That romance runs deeper for her breeder John Carter, who races the Ekra mare with his wife Victoria, brother Brian Carter and friend Ross Powell. Carter purchased postponed mare Post Romance at the sales, then sold a half share in order to take a share in another yearling at the same sale, a colt who went on to become the Group 1 winner Joker's Wild. He was able to buy the other half of Post Romance back after her racing career ended. The rest is breeding history. Rising Romance has become the star performer of her family, though both her Granddam Pretty Wicked and Great-Granddam Something Wicked were stakes performed. Bred largely on an outcross, Rising Romance has no common descendant in her first 4 removes. Rising Romance became Ekra's 4th Group 1 winner after She's Sensational, Extreme and Habibi, who was also trained by the Logans. This week's Pedigree of the Week is proudly brought to you by International Animal Health Products.
Well, that ends another half hour of Kiwi Bred. Join me again next week when we take a look at the exceptional breeding record of Par 4. I'll see you all then.